talking to me?
Co-op puzzle adventures are back in a big way, and Orbitals is stepping into the ring with a really cool setup that feels fresh without overcomplicating things. You and a buddy play as Maki and Omura, two space explorers trapped on a crumbling space station that is about to get pulverized by a cosmic storm. Instead of handing both players the exact same kit and telling you to run through linear levels, the whole game is built around asymmetrical mechanics, where you actually have to rely on each other to survive. One of you might be managing gadgets to clear hazards, while the other opens path routes, making communication less of a bonus feature and more of an absolute survival requirement. What makes this particularly interesting is the pedigree behind it, considering the design direction comes from folks who worked on Hazelight bangers like It Takes Two. They are leaning hard into making the puzzles clever rather than frustratingly hard, which means you won't end up screaming at your friend for messing up a frame-perfect jump for 20 minutes straight. The third-person perspective gives everything a nice sense of scale as you dodge debris and fix station components under serious pressure. It keeps the runtime tight and focused, avoiding the bloated filler that bogs down so many modern co-op titles. The real secret sauce here is how seamless the teamwork feels when you start finding a groove with all the weird alien gadgets at your disposal. Watching a station fall apart around you while desperately trying to sync up button presses with someone sitting on your couch is peak chaotic gaming energy, and Orbitals nails that balance between high-stakes sci-fi tension and accessible party fun. Anime fighting games usually follow a predictable formula, but My Hero Academia All's Justice is throwing hands by taking things straight to the high-stakes chaos of the final war arc. Bandai Namco is dropping players right into the absolute climax of the story. You get access to characters at their absolute peak power levels rather than holding back for future DLC passes. We are talking full 3v3 tag battles where Deku, Shigaraki, and the rest of the roster throw around world-shattering quirks that practically tear up the surrounding environment. The refined battle system overhauls how combat flows, turning standard combo strings into flashy high-speed aerial clashes that capture the absurd scale of the anime's biggest fight. Instead of just mashing one button to execute an auto combo, you actually have to manage your team's synergy, air mobility, and defensive breaks to avoid getting deleted off the map. Playing as iconic heroes or villain heavyweights feels genuinely heavy, especially when you land an ultimate move that looks like it took half the studio's animation budget to pull off. The campaign mode covers the brutal showdown between One for All and All for One, giving fans front row seats to every massive clash with cinematic presentation that goes way harder than you would expect. Throwing in fan-favorite editions like Nana Shimura shows, the developers are actually paying attention to what the hardcore audience wants out of a stacked roster. Whether you're a casual fan wanting to hurl giant fireballs, or a competitive player looking to master frame data, there is plenty here to appreciate. It captures that ridiculous, larger-than-life superhero energy, where every punch feels like a wrecking ball hitting a glass house, offering pure, unapologetic arena fighting fan service done right. Virtual reality zombie shooters have come a massive way over the years, and the original Grand Canyon Outbreak is getting a glorious, blood-soaked overhaul in Arizona's Sunshine Remake. Rebuilt from the ground up, this modern revival ditches the old dated visuals for stunning high-resolution textures, realistic lighting, and an absurdly satisfying new mutilation and gore system. Blowing off zombie limbs, watching heads pop, and blasting through brain-hungry hordes feels infinitely punchier thanks to vastly improved physical feedback and weapon handling mechanics. The developers also reworked the inventory system to make combat far smoother, introducing customizable holster positions and adding a dedicated shoulder slot so you can finally sling rifles and shotguns across your back like a true apocalypse veteran. Scavenging every single sparse bullet clip and health snack out of abandoned card trunks and dusty cabinets while undead swarms rapidly close in creates a constant sweaty palm tension that keeps your heart hammering in your chest. The dark comedy of the protagonist's sarcastic commentary remains intact, providing plenty of hilarious commentary to break up the horror as you fight through sweltering desert canyons and creepy underground mines. Packing in the full original story campaign plus every single piece of DLC content released over the years makes this the definitive package for veteran survivors and total newcomers alike. bringing a best buddy along in full 2-player campaign co-op, or grabbing 3 friends for chaotic 4-player horde mode elevates the fun even higher, especially when someone accidentally drops their shotgun shell under pressure while surrounded by screaming undead. Anyone who loves physical VR gunplay, absurd zombie slaughters, and roasting under the desert sun will find this remake to be an absolute blast of pure post-apocalyptic adrenaline.
Can't touch this!
Ubisoft is finally giving Rayman some much-needed love, and instead of taking a massive gamble on a weird spin-off, they went straight for the crown jewel with Rayman Legends Retold. Built from the ground up in the Snowdrop engine, this visual remake rebuilds the classic 2D levels into a gorgeous hybrid perspective that shifts cameras and bends environments in real time. The artwork retains that signature cartoon charm while giving beloved characters like Barbara a stunning 3D model makeover that makes the original game look ancient by comparison. Revisiting classic worlds with updated lighting and dynamic particle effects gives whole levels of fresh atmosphere without losing their original soul. Combat and platforming feel remarkably fluid, maintaining the pinpoint precision movement that made the original an absolute masterpiece of platform design. What really steals the spotlight, though, is the addition of brand new content like 4 extra rhythm-based musical stages where every jump and punch syncs directly to the music track. Sliding through chaotic obstacle courses while jamming out to custom tracks remains one of the greatest pleasures in modern gaming, and adding extra stages is basically printing free dopamine. Couch co-op returns for up to 4 players. You can still spend half your session rescuing teensies and the other half accidentally slapping your best friend off a cliff. Throw in dragon riding sequences, revamped challenge zones, and the return of fan favorites like Kung Foot, and you have a platformer package that reminds everyone why this franchise belongs at the top. It takes timeless platforming perfection, slaps on modern visual wizardry, and serves up pure joy that proves 2D platformers can still kick total ass. Vampire Survivors practically spawned an entire subgenre overnight. But Ember Blade is trying to elevate the bullet heaven formula into something genuinely premium developed by Line Games. This dark fantasy title blends the chaotic screen-clearing horde survival mechanics of a 1 vs 1000 Muso game with the brutal, high-stakes dodge mechanics of a Souls-like boss fighter. You play as an immortal demon hunter bound by an angelic pact, carving your way through thousands of demonic swarms summoned by the archdemon Asmodeus, mowing down mobs with heavenly sword blessings, scratches that ultimate power fantasy itch, but the game hits you with a massive reality check the second you step into the boss arenas. These judicators of fate bosses demand precise timing, stamina management, and pattern recognition. You cannot just brainlessly tank hits like in a standard horde shooter. One sloppy dodge can strip your health bar in a second, forcing you to actually respect enemy telegraphs. The satisfaction of melting a screen full of monsters only to get humbled by a giant boss blade creates an incredible gameplay contrast. Between runs, celestial blessings allow you to craft wildly different weapon builds, so every attempt feels like a distinct puzzle in power scaling. Unraveling the tragic lore surrounding the Seal Guardian Ariella through short natural dialogues gives repeated runs actual narrative weight. The dynamic color palette and punchy visual effects make every slice feel impact heavy, keeping your eyes glued to the action even when the entire screen is exploding with chaos. It takes 2 different ends of the action gaming spectrum, mashes them together with style, and produces a dark fantasy rush that keeps you screaming for just one more run. Road trip games usually involve running from zombies or blasting radio stations at reckless speeds, but Forever Ago takes a radically different route by giving us something far more grounded and emotional. You play as Alfred, an older gentleman who packs up a rustic camper van and heads north through stunning wilderness landscapes following a tragic life event. Instead of aggressive action or relentless survival timers, the entire experience centers around soaking in the scenery, meeting eccentric locals along the highway, and piecing together a story about regret, healing, and second chances. The core gameplay blends light environmental puzzles with a lovely photography mechanic where you snap pictures using a trusty instant camera to document your personal journey. There is something genuinely therapeutic about pulling your clunky old van off to the side of a dusty road just to snap photos of a quiet mountain lake or chat with a wandering stranger about their own life struggles. The developers clearly understood that smaller, quiet moments often hit way harder than massive, explosive set pieces, creating an atmosphere that feels remarkably intimate and sincere. You're essentially living out the ultimate retired traveler fantasy, complete with cozy campfires, scenic detours, and yes, the crucial ability to pet friendly dogs you encounter along the way. It treats its aging protagonist with real respect, avoiding cheap tropes while crafting a narrative that feels like reading a beloved, worn-out paperback novel on a rainy afternoon. Anyone looking to slow down, leave the hyper-competitive multiplayers behind for an evening, and enjoy a deeply thoughtful story with heaps of heart will find this peaceful journey remarkably hard to put down once the road trip begins. Open-world arcade racers have been chasing the tropical festival high for a long time, but the Crew Motorfest drops players right into the middle of a sun-soaked Hawaiian paradise that feels like an absolute playground for gearheads. Taking place across vibrant, scaled-down versions of Oahu and Maui, the game embraces pure automotive celebration through themed playlists that highlight everything from vintage classics to hypercars and electric monsters. The sheer variety of rides is pretty staggering, giving you access to well over 600 vehicles that include cars, motorcycles, boats, and even stunt planes. What really keeps the gameplay fast and chaotic is the signature seamless vehicle switching, letting you streak down a mountain road in an exotic supercar, instantly transform into a speedboat as you leap off a cliff into the ocean, and then morph into a stunt plane to soar over the palm trees. The handling model strikes a fantastic sweet spot between forgiving arcade drifting and satisfying weight, making every corner feel great, whether you're tearing up dirt trails or burning rubber on asphalt. Multiplayer fans get absolute madness, with 32-player grand races where disciplines swap mid-event, along with a wild demolition royale mode that turns vehicular combat into a chaotic battle arena. A handy 15-second rewind feature keeps minor driving blunders from ruining a solid race, allowing you to stay focused on high-speed action without slamming your controller down, driving past gorgeous beaches, neon-lit city strips, and muddy rainforest trails, while blasting great music captures an irresistible summer vacation vibe. Anyone craving endless speed, silly transformations, and a massive garage of dream machines will find this island racing getaway wildly entertaining from the moment the engine roars.
This shop isn't your choice. It's your duty.
The original Moonlighter nailed that addictive rhythm of dungeon crawling by night and price gouging villagers by day. But Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault, takes that exact gameplay and leaps straight into a fully 3D isometric world. Will is back, except now he and his entire hometown got banished to an unfamiliar village called Tresna by a creepy interdimensional entity named Moloch. Naturally, the only logical response to being completely broke in a strange land is to gear up, dive headfirst into dynamic dimensional biomes, and start hoarding shiny ancient relics to sell back at your shop. Moving to 3D transforms the combat feel, giving you smoother dodge rolls, tighter weapon mechanics, and way more spatial tactical depth when swarms of monsters try to corner you. The real kicker this time around is the reworked backpack management system, where organizing your loot actually triggers active synergies and combat modifiers during your dungeon runs. You aren't just playing inventory management Tetris for extra space, you're literally stacking items to boost your elemental damage before heading home to mark up retail prices. Haggling with town customers, watching their hilarious expressions when you fleece them for overpriced dungeon trash, and reinvesting every single coin into gear upgrades or town expansions is an absurdly satisfying mechanic. Pushing deeper into the Endless Vault artifact tests your combat skills while offering massive payouts, making every single dive feel like a high-stakes gamble. It balances the adrenaline rush of a Hades-style roguelike with the cozy dopamine hit of running a local retail empire, proving that running a small business is somehow the ultimate fantasy power trip. Stepping out of prison with zero money and a massive debt owed to a mysterious benefactor sounds like a rough Tuesday, but Crime Simulator turns that exact nightmare into an addictive, fast-paced roguelite experience. Throwing slow, painstaking stealth out the window, this title focuses on rapid-fire heists, chaotic risk-taking, and constant progression where failing a run is just part of the job. Operating out of a glorified shipping container base, you take on risky jobs, rob houses, snatch high-value loot, and haul everything back to pay off strict 3-day quotas before your time runs out. The gameplay hits a fantastic rhythm of high-stakes tension as you dodge security cameras, outrun trigger-happy guards, and call in drone deliveries right to the job site for quick gear drop. Getting caught or shot by the cops might strip your current backpack loot, but your hard-earned character levels, hideout upgrades, and unlocked skill leaflets stay permanently intact for your next attempt. Collecting special golden cards hidden around maps unlocks hilarious game-changing perks, like disabling annoying security cameras, boosting shop prices, or bribing officials to extend your strict loan deadlines. Multiple distinct game modes let you tailor the chaos, ranging from relaxed, endless loot sprees to brutal, hardcore runs where a single bad mistake wipes your entire character progress clean. Playing solo or teaming up with crewmates in co-op turns every neighborhood break-in into a delightfully messy comedy of errors where someone inevitably sets off an alarm. It treats criminal enterprise like a wild arcade hustle, proving that losing your loot in a botched escape is just the cost of doing business in a delightfully chaotic virtual underworld.
Hi there, I'm Mark Venturelli, game director on Hellclock.
Isometric action RPGs love sending players into the exact same generic dark fantasy dungeons, but Hellclock flips the script by setting its demonic roguelike hack and slash during historical 19th century South American conflicts, channeling heavy inspiration from beloved RPG heavyweights like Diablo, Path of Exile, and Grim Dawn. The game throws you straight into fast, screen-clearing combat against swarms of demonic horrors across a 4-act story campaign and brutal endgame challenges. Progression feels wonderfully dynamic and rewarding, replacing rigid class trees with a fluid skill blessing system that lets you assemble absurd screen-melting character builds on the fly every single time you level up. Defeating massive area bosses rewards unique relics that fundamentally alter how your abilities function, such as turning standard gunshot skills into explosive disease-spreading slug rounds that ricochet violently between entire armies of encroaching monsters. Loot management is kept impressively slick with an automatic trinket gear system that instantly equips upgraded stat boosts as they drop, letting you stay focused on constant slaughter rather than spending half your evening manually sorting through crowded inventory screens. Diving into nightmare portals ramps up the intensity even further by locking you into claustrophobic arena-style gauntlets overflowing with aggressive enemy waves and punishing bosses that test your movement skills and build synergy to their absolute breaking point. The lightning-fast speed of hack-and-slash combat combined with endless build theory crafting creates that legendary sleep-depriving just one more run addiction gameplay that isometric action fans obsess over. Blending bizarre historical lore, apocalyptic demonic invasions, and absurdly satisfying combat, Hellclock proves that shaking up traditional RPG formulas while delivering top-tier build crafting is a total recipe for high-octane gaming fun.
Okay everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you liked that video, please leave a like and subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to get notified when we release new content. We hope to see you in the next video.